Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something really current, something affecting a lot of people, the drive for better health, and often for losing significant weight. And we're seeing these, well, almost revolutionary steps forward, right? Especially with new therapies like GLP-1 and GIP mimetics. They're powerful.
Absolutely. They mimic hormones, help people lose substantial weight. It's pretty groundbreaking stuff.
But okay, here's the catch we need to unpack. Losing weight feels like the win, but how you lose it, that massively impacts your health down the line. We're talking about muscle loss. It often gets overlooked when the scale number goes down, especially with these new treatments.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is the real goal shouldn't just be less weight. It has to be losing fat while really fighting to keep your muscle. Muscle isn't just, for lifting things, it's your metabolic currency. If you lose too much, you could actually end up metabolically worse off.
Less healthy even after losing weight.
It's possible, yeah. So our deep dive today is all about why muscle matters so much, especially when you're actively losing weight, and what you can actually do to protect it.
Okay, let's jump right in. These GLP-1 drugs, semaglutide, tirzepatide, they work. They mimic satiety hormones, insulin signaling. People are seeing big weight drops.
They are, no doubt. But it forces us to ask what kind of weight is being lost. Because weight loss, whether it's from diet, surgery, or these drugs, it doesn't really pick and choose. You lose fat, yes, but lean muscle mass nearly always goes down too.
So you're lighter, but maybe weaker.
Weaker and potentially metabolically compromised. Without actively working against it, you could, paradoxically end up less healthy overall despite the lower number on the scale.
That really highlights the urgency, doesn't it? If you're on this path, especially using these mimetics, you need more than just the drug. Lifestyle support, smart nutrition, ways to keep muscle. It's not optional, it sounds like. It's essential.
Absolutely essential. And this ties directly into something called sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia. Okay, tell us about that.
It's basically the gradual loss of muscle mass and function. It's often linked to aging, starts subtly, maybe even in your 30s, but it picks up speed after 60. Adults might lose, say, 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade if they're not careful. It just drifts away.
3 to 8% per decade.
Yeah.
Wow. And I guess most people think, okay, I'm getting a bit weaker, but it's more than that.
Oh, much more. Skeletal muscle isn't just for movement. Think of it as a major metabolic organ, a huge one, actually.
How so? Metabolic.
Well, it's central to managing your blood sugar, right? When you eat carbs, your muscles are the main place that glucose gets taken up, used, stored. So if you have less muscle mass, the job of handling that blood sugar falls much more heavily on your pancreas. It has to pump out more insulin.
Okay, so less muscle means the pancreas works harder.
Works much harder. Over time, that strain can lead straight to insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, even type 2 diabetes.
So losing muscle while trying to lose weight could actually sabotage your metabolic goals.
Precisely. You're losing weight, maybe feeling good about that, but you could be unknowingly setting yourself up for metabolic problems later. It's not just about strength. It's about your body's core ability to handle energy.
Okay, so how do we fight this? How do we make sure weight loss is genuinely healthy weight loss? Protein seems key.
Protein is definitely cornerstone number one. It's fundamental for muscle health. Helps slow down that sarcopenic slide.
Right. We hear about recommended daily amounts. In the UK, it's around 0.75 grams per kilogram of body weight. Yeah.
That's the general baseline, yes. But there's a lot of evidence now suggesting that's just not enough for certain groups.
Like who?
Well, older adults, definitely, people with chronic illnesses, and critically, anyone actively losing weight, especially if they're using GLP-1 medications.
So for those people, the need goes up.
Significantly. We're talking potentially 1.2 to 1.3 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. That's a big jump from the 0.75 or 0.8 G kilograms usually recommended for healthy adults.
Let's make that real. Say someone weighs 70 kilograms, about 154 pounds. Normally, they'd need 56 grams?
Around 56 grams, yes, based on the standard RNI. But if that same person is on a GLP-1 or in a serious weight loss program, their target might jump up to 84, maybe even 91 grams per day.
91 grams. Okay, that sounds like a lot. How do people realistically hit that?
It takes planning, but it's doable. Lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy are great. Legumes, tofu for plant-based options.
And supplements.
Supplements can definitely help bridge the gap. A single scoop of protein powder can easily add 20-25 grams. And nowadays, food tracking apps, even AI tools can help you monitor your intake and suggest ways to boost it. But here's the thing. Protein alone isn't enough. It's crucial, but it needs a partner.
And that partner is?
Resistance exercise,
Yeah.
absolutely essential. You need to stimulate the muscle for it to use that protein effectively, especially to grow or just hang on to what you have.
This is where people often fall short, isn't it? They focus on cardio, getting steps in.
Which is great. Walking, aerobic activity, fantastic for your heart. But it doesn't really provide the right signal, the stimulus needed for muscle growth or even maintenance during weight loss.
So you could be walking miles, but still losing muscle.
Easily. Especially if you're in a calorie deficit or getting older, you need to challenge the muscles directly with resistance.
What kind of resistance? Does it have to be heavy weights at the gym?
Not at all. Bodyweight exercises are fantastic. Push-ups, squats, lunges. Resistance bands are cheap and effective. Dumbbells work great. Or yes, gym machines if you prefer. The key is progressive overload, making it a bit harder over time. Aim for, say, 2 to 3 sessions a week. That's usually enough to trigger muscle protein synthesis and help you preserve that precious lean mass.
2 to 3 times a week. Okay, that feels manageable. So protein plus resistance training, how do you know if it's working? The scale just shows total weight.
Right. The scale lies, in a way. It doesn't tell you about composition. But we have better tools now. At-home body composition scales, the ones using bioelectrical impedance. They're not perfect, lab-grade accurate, but they're pretty good for tracking trends. Are you losing fat? Is muscle mass holding steady or maybe even increasing slightly? That's valuable feedback.
And for more precision.
The gold standard is really a DEXA scan, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. That gives you a very precise breakdown of fat mass, bone density, and importantly, lean skeletal muscle mass.
Should clinics using GLP-1s be doing DEXA scans then?
Ideally, yes. Incorporating DEXA follow-ups would be a fantastic way to ensure patients are losing fat, not vital muscle. It paints a much truer picture of health improvement.
Okay, we've got the what? Protein resistance tracking. Can we briefly touch on the why? Like, how does protein actually work to help with satiety and muscle?
Sure, it works in a few cool ways. First, satiety, feeling full. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food. Meaning your body burns more calories just digesting protein compared to fats or carbs. Maybe 15, even up to 30% of the protein's calories are used in processing it. So it contributes less net energy, and that process itself promotes fullness.
Wow, okay. Free calorie burn almost.
Sort of. Plus, protein triggers the release of satiety hormones, GLP-1, CCK, PYY. These signal to your brain, hey, we're full. And it dampens ghrelin, the hunger hormone.
So less hunger, more fullness signals.
Exactly. There's even a theory that higher levels of amino acids in your blood directly tell your brain's appetite control centers to ease off. And in terms of body composition, high protein intake is just really effective at telling your body to spare muscle tissue when you're losing weight. Even if fat loss is similar, the muscle stays better.
That's a powerful combination. Now, any downsides?
Yeah.
Caveats people should know about high-protein diets.
Yeah, it's good to be aware. One thing involves branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs. If you have high BCAA intake and a high-fat diet, there's some evidence it might interfere with fat metabolism in your cells and potentially worsen insulin resistance. It's about the combination.
Okay, so context matters. What about kidneys? That's a common concern.
Right. High protein does create an acid load for the kidneys to handle. The old idea it leaches calcium from bones. Mostly debunked protein is generally good for bones, but it can change kidney filtration rates.
So what's the advice?
Balance it out. Eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. They're alkaline, rich in potassium. That helps buffer the acid. And, regular check-ins with your doctor to monitor kidney function if you're on a very high protein diet is just sensible.
And the source of protein matters too, right?
Absolutely. Relying heavily on fatty red meats or processed meats might increase saturated fat and cholesterol. Better to lean towards fish, poultry, eggs, dairy, and especially plant sources like beans, lentils, tofu, nuts. They offer great protein with healthier fats. And the final caveat, calories still count. Protein is great, but if you eat way more calories than you burn, even from protein, your body can store the excess as fat. Weight loss always needs that energy deficit.
Got it. So manage the source, balance the diet, and remember overall calories. Okay, let's wrap this up. The core message seems crystal clear. Muscle is precious. It's your metabolic currency.
It really is. You need to protect it, invest in it, especially as you age or if you're losing weight. It's not just about avoiding weakness. It's about metabolic resilience.
So the key takeaways.
Get enough protein daily, maybe more than you think. Add resistance training 2 or 3 times a week. If you're using tools like GLP-1s, be extra vigilant about muscle. And track your body composition, not just your weight. Use DESO if you can. It's about building a foundation for a long, healthy life.
It really reframes the goal, doesn't it? Protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's preventative medicine. Strength isn't just physical. It's metabolic protection. It's resilience. It's quality of life.
Full health span, that's the aim.
So the question for everyone listening is, the goal isn't just weight loss, it's health span. What will you do starting today to protect your metabolic currency?